stronger inside and out. I am Debbie Waite. I am a mum, a wife, a fitness lover, and a coach. And I help women who want more. I help women who want to figure out who they are, what they want, and how to bloody well go and get it. And I am so passionate about encouraging women to realise that they are unique and incredible in their own right, not just the label that society gives them. So I'm recording this video in my home in East Sussex with my puppy at my feet, and I am so excited because I have somebody here with you today who I have been wanting to speak to for ages. She is an absolute guru when it comes to everything meditation, which is something that is so popular right now and for absolutely brilliant reasons. So before I pass over, I want to give you an idea of where I met her from. So I met Nix in a self-development program back in March 2020. It was a program to help us get our businesses online, because once COVID hit, my business was hit hard because I did most of my coaching and most of my leadership development in the corporate world, and that went overnight. So I needed to put it online. I invested in myself and in my development, in my business. And on that course, I was drawn to somebody, and I was drawn to them because of their energy, which is a very similar energy to mine. It was very high energy, but she also felt like she was very content with herself and her life and her lot. She had a very, very similar background to me. She was a very senior leader within the corporate world, yet she was into meditation, which in my world and in my brain was all very hippie and very woo-woo and not something that I had taken seriously in the past. So she fascinated me, and she's fascinated me ever since. I am very proud to say that she popped my meditation cherry. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Nix Thackery, or otherwise known as Nix. Nix, welcome.
Hello, hi everyone, and thank you, Des, for having me on. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so pleased I was the one to pop your cherry on the whole meditation thing. But like you say, you know, we've got similar kind of backgrounds. Is it worth me just kind of giving a quick,
Brilliant,
So my story is quite interesting because I've kind of done a complete U-turn when it comes to my career. So I spent the last I had 20 years in the corporate world. And there was so much that I loved about it. I loved the pace of it. I loved the people that I work with. And I did really well. I worked really, really hard, and I got promoted over the years and had some really senior leadership positions. So I was a director. I was looking after a team of 320 people for just big companies, you know, and having a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. And certain things happened. You know, I lost a couple of people in my family that were really close to me, and it really just made me start to assess, am I spending my life the way I actually really want to? And, you know, I'm sure you'll know this as well. When you're doing well in your career and you get used to a lifestyle and all that kind of thing and all the comforts that come with it, it's quite uncomfortable and, to be frank, quite inconvenient. It felt really inconvenient for me. I started to have this nagging feeling that actually I wanted to be doing something else. But I ignored it, and just didn't want to listen because, like I say, it just felt really inconvenient. So I kept on working hard, I kept on doing well. But then at a certain point, I hit burnout. And I was exhausted. It was a combination of loads of different things. It was the losses in my family. It was the responsibility that I felt on my shoulders at work. It was having a small child that didn't want to sleep very much through the night. It was the whole thing. But then it was about almost 3 years ago when I just literally hit the wall, and I was off work for about 3 months. It just took a while to be able to rebuild myself. And I did that through a process of basically learning what are the routines and the rituals and the daily habits that you need in order to feel strong and in order to kind of keep your head above the water. Because, you know, with jobs and families and everything that's going on and the pace of life and the expectations that we've got on ourselves, it's really exhausting at times. And so what I really felt very acutely at that time was, God, looking back, I've had so much responsibility and so much like fast-paced lifestyle, but I've actually had no proper healthy habits to really support me or to help alleviate stress and anxiety and things like that. Sort of just built up and then bang. So as I started to put myself together and I was learning new things like meditation, mindfulness, I was making sure I was out for, you know, walks every day on the beach to really start to like build my energy back up. And all those little things just had a profound effect. And I looked around at, you know, a lot of people that I worked with and people that I had worked with in the past and just thought, nobody's doing this stuff. You know, like very few people are actively managing their daily habits and cultivating the things that are going to help them feel really strong inside and balanced and grounded and actually just able to deal with the pace of your life and to deal with the responsibilities and to deal with the stress and be able to get rid of it on a regular basis. So I started to teach all of this sort of stuff at work at the time, and I just loved it so much. And you know, when you basically found your thing, I'd found my thing and I was like, I love this so much. I just want to be able to teach this to people and help people to build it into their lives in a really easy way, you know, and like debunk the myths and help people understand why it's such a good thing for them to do. Doesn't take hours. You don't need to sit in any fancy positions, you know, to do this kind of stuff, but the benefits are there if you want them, and you just need to test it out and see whether it feels good for you. And when it comes to any healthy habits, you find the things that work for you and then you do them. Like, you've got to stick, and the powers in the repetition, you know this, but the powers in the repetition and just finding creative ways to build it into your day. So eventually, like, it was about, I think 2.5 years ago, I decided to leave the corporate world and set up on my own business. And like you say, that's where it was all about, how do I take this online? How can I have an online business doing this? And then that's where we met in the business mastermind.
So going back to, you started teaching it in your corporate world. How did that go down? Because I know back in my corporate days, if I had sat around the board table and went, well, I want to introduce you to meditation, I would have been laughed out the room. Probably particularly because it was a male-dominated environment. So how did you embed that? How did it happen?
Well, the company I worked for was actually, it's a brilliant company, and it's very progressive and very, very welcoming of new ways of doing things and trying new things and being curious and being creative. So actually they asked me to do it, and I was just more than happy to. It wasn't something that I went and said we should be doing this. I think people saw me and were like, wow, you've gone from this, like basically a total, like a stress head, really a stress head in terms of, I feel the responsibility, do, achieve, accomplish, all that sort of thing, to actually just having a different slant on my leadership way, you know, my leadership style, and also the things I was able to achieve. And so it just completely changed the energy. It really did change the energy in life, in personal life and in work. And people wanted to sample it. They really wanted to try it. And I think, you know, I've got no doubt. Yeah, exactly. And I've got no doubt that, you know, some people probably thought that's bonkers. And I'm not interested. But other people were like, do you know what? A bit similar to what you said, you know, if it's worked for her, I'll give it a go. And they gave it a go and they liked it. So yeah, it was brilliant.
It's amazing. I can really relate to that whole, just being that tunnel vision of you get so used to, I think, particularly when you're a mum, particularly when you're senior role, particularly when you've worked your absolute butt off for the last 20 years to get to a senior position, you're just kind of tunnel vision of go, aren't you?
Yes.
Something, I find that in most people I know, and particularly the people I coach, up until they actually get a coach, it has taken a massive, usually trauma in their life to be able to go, right, I've got to do something, or illness or something that goes, right, okay, I've got to change direction in my life because life's too short. So in dummy terms, because you know that I'm still a very, very big beginner in all of this.
Yeah.
What is meditation? How would you describe it to somebody that's has always poo-pooed it in the past?
Someone who's poo-pooed it. Well, so the first thing I would say is that if you're thinking that meditation is for monks and hippies, I promise you it's not. And this is one of the things, I'll explain what it is, but I just think it's important to say that meditation, you know, in the past, when there wasn't tons of neuroscientific studies and all the research that goes around it, people did think it was woo-woo, you know, monks and hippies and stuff like that, and just kind of palmed it off.
Yeah.
But actually, with the thousands of studies that there are, and the neuroscientists have been able to prove what physically happens in your brain, and there's all sorts of like really brilliant changes that happen in your brain. So it actually changes your prefrontal cortex, because parts of your brain get like fatter, and all the neural folds and the neural density is different in the brains of people who have a regular meditation practice versus people who don't. And so it's your prefrontal cortex that improves and gets better, and that's concentration, focus, and awareness. And then your hippocampus, which is your learning and your memory center, they get just really beefed up. It's really like taking your brain to the gym. So if I know you're a proper gym, you know, a gym cracker, and so this is the equivalent of taking your brain to the gym. And actually, if you don't take your brain to the gym, what happens in your brain is the same as what would happen in your body, where your muscles just atrophy, you know, and so they just don't become as strong, and they're not as strong, not as productive as they could be. But the other thing as well, which is really useful for a lot of people, there's a lot of people nowadays who really suffer badly with stress and anxiety and depression. And partly, well, a large part of what triggers all the anxiety and stress and depression is within your amygdala. So your amygdala is your brain's fear center. And basically, once you start to have a daily meditation practice, the size of the amygdala, it's fascinating, the size of your amygdala starts to shrink. And also the neural density gets weaker, and the connections between your amygdala and the other parts of your brain get weaker. So it just means that, like, if you're someone that sometimes feels besieged by stress and anxiety, you actually need to take your brain to the gym, and it's working on your amygdala, and it's actually shrinking the fear center. So it's just, honestly, that it's just so fascinating to know that just by spending the time being quiet and stopping running around and fixing problems and working and shopping and, you know, looking after everybody else, that actually just taking a few minutes every day can have these really profound effects on your brain. So it changes all sorts of your brain. But what it is, it's basically a practice where you come to the practice with the intention of just slowing down and actually stopping. And so it's a kind of verified state of consciousness. It's a fourth state of consciousness that's different to waking, sleeping, and dreaming. You've then got meditation. And it's where your body, if you imagine your body's like completely relaxed, but your brain is alert. So it's different to sleeping, it's different to dreaming, because you're not hallucinating or anything like that. But you're actually really just coming to a practice with the intention of saying, I'm going to just calm myself. I'm going to calm my nervous system. And once you start connecting with your breathing, because the breathing is the hallmark of any meditation practice, you start first connecting with your breathing. You basically trigger the relaxation response, which is the opposite of your stress response. So everything starts to slow down, you know, everything just starts to feel much better and clearer. And all sorts of physiological events, you know, chain of events happen in your system, which helps to stimulate feelings of relaxation and well-being. And what you're doing in the meditation practice is you're practicing every day, getting into the relaxation response. And so you feel the benefits in the moment, but you're basically building new neural pathways as well. That means that you can get into the relaxation response even quicker in the afternoon when you need it, when the kids are driving you wild or your boss is on the phone or whatever it might be, you know. But you can actually, because you've practiced, you've rehearsed.
Your body knows what to do, and it can.
Well, exactly, you've rehearsed, like your mind and your body know how to get into that state. Or, you know, often a lot of people, because we're so busy, when you go to bed, your body's tired, but your brain's like, Yeah, yeah, got to do this. I nearly forgot about that. I'm worried about this and all that sort of thing. Well, actually, again, because you've rehearsed getting relaxed and relaxing your mind and body, you use that skill when it's bedtime, you know, so you can go to bed and you could learn to just really slow down your thoughts. So it's about come to the practice with the intention of slowing down, grounding yourself, connecting with your breathing. There's loads of different types of meditation. So mindfulness meditation is all about like present moment awareness, connecting to your senses. I teach a lot of that.
I was going to ask you what the difference between mindfulness and meditation is. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so mindfulness and meditation, I always talk about them as being like best friends, like they're happiest when they're done together. Right. Because ideally, you know, you've got a meditation practice. I always recommend you do a bit of meditation in the morning because you're priming yourself. You know how we put primer on under makeup to help it stay? Yeah. This is about when you wake up, instead of just being like, instead of it being a free-for-all, like, how might I feel today? Might I, you know, I feel frustrated when I wake up, so I'm going to go out into the world being frustrated. Or, you know, or I feel a bit like today, and I'm going to go out into the world feeling Instead, this is about priming, and you take control, and you know what I mean? You're doing your mindset work, and you're relaxing your body to tell yourself, this is what we are going to do today. This is what today is going to be. This is how we're going to live.
It's fascinating because I've always thought of meditation, and this is what's changed in the last few months, is I've always thought of meditation of needing it before bed to do exactly what you just said, turning this off, to be able to get myself ready for rest. But more recent months, I've completely changed my morning routine, and a lot of the ladies on my self-development program have changed their morning routines to don't wait until the kids go, mummy, 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 hello, mummy, and jump on your head as a way of waking up. Figure out what time they normally wake up and set your alarm for at least half an hour earlier. Yeah. To be able to just get up and figure out what kind of day you're going to have, and have a little bit of time for you, so that you are owning the day rather than the day owning you, and you're always on the back foot, and you're always
that's exactly it. And it's about setting your intentions, because you can either, like you say, you can either roll out of bed and just crack on, and it depends what mood you're in, and it depends what energy you're going to bring to the day, or you give yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes to be able to set yourself up. And it's, you know, I was talking about this on a different interview I was doing the other day, and it was about, you know, like say when we're at school, if you were about to write an essay and you've got an hour to write an essay, you don't just launch into the essay without spending just a few minutes planning. This is how I'm going to start it. This is what I'm going to put, you know, these are the points I need to add in, and this is how I'm going to conclude it. And it's the same sort of thing with ourselves. Like if you just go into it without any specific intentions, then who knows how it's going to turn out. Whereas if you start to really tell your brain and program yourself, this is what we're doing, this is who we are, this is what we're looking for, these are the things we need to get done today, you know, your brain, it just does this missile thing, and it'll just make sure that you've got much more chance of being able to have the day that you really want to. And so, sorry.
No, carry on.
No, I was just going to say that the meditation and mindfulness thing, the meditation. So I would say meditation is incredibly powerful if you do it first thing in the morning, within the first 20 minutes of when you wake up, because that's when your brain's most impressionable. And one of the things I love so much about meditation is that you basically get to plant seeds. So yes, you can do the breathing. Yes, you can do your connection to your senses about bring me into the here and now. But actually, it's also, what seeds do I want to plant in my brain? Like, what do I need to hear first thing? I know you know this because you're into self-talk, and you do that with your coaching clients as well. But this is about really understanding, what do I need to hear first thing in the morning that's going to set me up to feel empowered, to feel strong, to feel capable, to feel like this is going to be a really good day. And taking that opportunity to say those things to yourself and give yourself the gifts, you know, that you would ideally love for someone to come along and give to you. So the meditation practice is helping to set you up. It's calming you, and it's also, you can use it to program your mind in the morning. And then the mindfulness is basically how you go into your whole day. So it's your openness and your willingness to be there in the moment and experience the conversations that you have, any difficulties or whatever that you have in the moment, without this constant, well, I know what you're about to say, so I'm going to think about my answer, you know. And it's actually just being able to breathe and take a bit of a step back and take it all in and have the faith in yourself to respond in the moment. But it's basically the mindfulness bits, the opposite to being carried away and just living in the future all the time, or being consumed by stuff that happened in the past. Because a lot of people, and these are like the source of chronic stress, which is future, you know, like this is what I want and I haven't got this yet, and all this sort of thing. Or a lot of people do live in the past about, you know, wishing certain things hadn't happened, wish that things had been different, and that sort of thing. And I mean, that's two ways to live, which is not going to make you happy, you know. So this is where you need to pull yourself in and manage yourself.
Oh, and it's, oh my God, I've got so many questions. We're probably going to have to do another interview at some point. I've got a billion questions. I've got some questions written down that people have asked me to ask you. Some of my ladies on my programs have been like, you must ask this and you must ask that. But before I do, my brain is just going mental. Before I do, I just want to touch base. One of the big things that I talk about in one of the modules of my program is the unconscious mind and the conscious mind. And I think the more I learn about meditation, the more it hits home to me, because I've always known that the unconscious mind is the most powerful tool we have in our toolkit. But it is also the most underutilized tool in our toolkit.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, because we're living in that conscious mind, which is the rational, logical, step-by-step future kind of thing of reacting to things in a way that due to our past and our histories and our experiences and what society sets, etc. And that's when we just kind of go forward and don't really even allow ourselves to figure out what it is we actually think. And I think that what I'm realizing with meditation is, like you were saying earlier, is that the training for your brain is getting rid of that fight or flight response from the amygdala. I can never say that word, and allowing to be, so that you're actually starting to recognize and listen and trust and love your unconscious mind, which is picking up so many signals around the world every millisecond that actually we usually ignore. And actually get some really powerful answers to some really deep questions by trusting your own self and your own unconscious. And
I could scream hallelujah at you, Debbie, but because it's true. I mean, this is exactly it. Like it's the difference really between because we're creatures of habit. We're creatures of habit, and so we'll get up and do the same thing today as we did tomorrow, largely, right? And same things at the weekend, same things in the evening, and that kind of thing. And actually, if your habits are leading you into this lifestyle where you love it and you're happy, then hats off, that's brilliant. If not, though, and if you've got this nagging sense of something's not quite right, or everything looks fine, but I'm just not feeling it, like I feel flat. You know, a lot of the women that I coach come to me and they're like, I'm an achiever. I have achieved, I've got a big job, big family, gorgeous house, all of this sort of stuff. And now what? You know, and now what? And I feel flat. And this is where it's, you know, it's really, the meditation side of the things helps you with the art of fulfillment in your life, which is drastically different to the science of achievement. Because achievement, you know, you can learn the rules, you can look at other people who've done it, you can copy them, align yourself with what they're doing, and you'll get the same results. Happy days. But what fulfills you and what fulfills me might be different. But you need to create the time and the space to tune in to yourself, to say, oh, okay, so what would it be for me? Like, what is it that I actually really want? What kind of life? Who do I want to become? What kind of things do I want to create? You know, and the problem is, if you're caught up in all the doing, fixing problems, running around, being busy all the time, and to be honest, never taking the time to sit and ask yourself the questions. I know I hadn't, you know, up until when I had my burnout, I had never given any proper thought to that. Because I didn't know the answer. They weren't coming to me straight away, and so I wasn't doing
it. is that we're constantly, like, I've always been a massive, you know, my career in the corporate world was leadership development and executive coaching and running programs. And most of that I was so passionate about because I like learning and I see the benefits of learning and growing as an individual, because I believe that if you're not growing, then you're dying, quite frankly. But it gets to a point, I've lost what I was going to say then. Oh, it was really exciting as well. It'll come to me. The
leadership development stuff.
Yeah, and what was it you were just saying?
Fulfillment versus achievement.
Oh, yes. And so I was always reading books and going on development programs and putting myself on courses, and I was looking for the answers externally. I was constantly looking for somebody to tell me what to do next. Well, no one's going to tell me what to do next because I know all the answers. I've just got to find them within myself. I think that was a massive revelation for me, which really fits with what you were just saying of, you know, the answers are within us.
Well, they are, and I genuinely, like, I talk a lot on well, in all the stuff I do, about the fact that you need to take radical responsibility for yourself, your life, and your happiness, you know, because it's not fair ever to, and I know I used to do this, to kind of pin my happiness on someone else. And wait for, whether it was my poor husband, you know, whether it was my husband, or whether, you know, or if I needed something in particular from parents or whatever it might be. And actually, that's not fair on anybody. It's not actually even fair on me, because it's a recipe for disaster if you're going to wait for other people to be able to give you something or do something for you to make you happy. So this is about, like, really building your relationship and strengthening your relationship with yourself. And you do that through understanding more and reflecting on, who am I? What makes me happy? What are the things that I really love to do? Like, really what lights me up and what makes me feel like I'm alive, you know? And so once you know all those different things, how can you build your life around the things that are going to make you really happy? And it's not a selfish thing. Like, you know, this is all about, if the more happy I can make me, the more I can give my family, the more I can give in my relationship, the more I can give my clients, all the rest of it, you know? So it's some people, and I think, you know, in our country as well, there's a lot of people still shy away from the whole self-care thing, because they're like, it just makes me feel really selfish. But actually it's really not selfish, because you'll be more happy, and you can give more. You can give more at the end of the day.
This is my hallelujah moment for you, Nix. This is my hallelujah moment going, yes, I harp on about all the time. Is unless you put yourself first, you can't give to anybody else, because you're absolutely...
Well, yes, exactly. It's just a false economy to think that if you don't, you know, because you're robbing other people of the best version you could be given of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, it's so important. And I don't know whether it's if it's a cultural thing, but you're right. I you know, particularly when it comes to motherhood, is I think that it's that you have to put yourself on top of the to-do list, because actually most people aren't even on their to-do list. But to be able to be strong and energized and positive,
exactly.
Like you say, be the best version of you, you have to work on that. It doesn't come from something, getting it through the post. So one of the things,
but it doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah, you have to consciously do it, don't you? And like you say, create the right habits that are working for you and with you. Now, one of the things that is quite a common thing that I know that I've struggled with, and I've had quite a few questions about it, and I think it's one of the reasons why people don't create that habit of meditation, is knowing what to expect at the beginning. Now, I expected when I first started meditating to be able to sit there and my brain will switch off and I'll come out and I'll be completely energized, because my way of energizing used to be going down the gym and hitting it hard and come out with all the endorphins going, blah, which I do, but actually I need to balance it. And I talk about seesaws quite a lot, of, you know, negative and positive, and you have to outweigh, and you can't always be going down the gym and hitting it hard. You have to switch off and relax as well. I think that comes with a bit of maturity and meeting you as well. One of the things that people find hard is what to expect at the beginning, and how do you switch off the, oh, well, I've got to go to the supermarket tonight and get this, and oh, I've got to iron the kids' uniform, all the noise.
all the noise. So I would say if there are people watching this who are new to meditation, the best thing you can do is to start small. The very best thing you can do is start. The second best thing you can do is start small. And so I'm talking like literally 1 minute or 2 minutes, okay? And just practice sitting, doing nothing. Close your eyes and just focus on your breathing. And the reality is, Deb, because, you know, when we are creatures of habit, like we said before, so when we are, you know, I'm 42 now, I was 40 when I started getting into meditation. If you've got 40 years of practice of being busy all the time and never sitting down and switching off, it's going to feel a bit weird and it's going to feel a bit difficult. And the thing is, a lot of people think, you know, when it comes to meditation, oh, it's about making your mind go blank. It's about having no thoughts. But I've got a really busy mind, and so I must be a terrible meditator or I wouldn't be any good at it. And the thing I want you to understand is that, you know, your brain's job is to produce thoughts. That is literally its job, right? In the same way that your heart's job is to pump blood around your body, and your lungs' job is to, you know, your lungs and your respiratory system is to breathe in and out. So it's got a function, and you'll have no more success saying to your brain, be still, you know, switch off. You know, you'll have no more success doing that as you would if you were to say to your heart, will you please stop beating for just a few minutes? It's just not going to work. It's just not how it works. The difference though with meditation is that you learn to basically become aware of a thought and notice you're aware and then just let it go. And this is why it's really useful to focus and have your focal point as your breathing or a mantra, because you are redirecting your focus, and that's all it is. So for people who are new to it, just take a few minutes, connect with your breathing and make that be your anchor point. Okay, and when you start thinking, I've suddenly thought about the Christmas list, or when am I going to order the turkey, or whatever it might be, you know, just think that's just my brain doing its job, coming up with thoughts. Just let it go and come back to your breathing or come back to your mantra. Okay, so start really small. And one of the things that you could do is the meditation challenge. So I've got a really cool little 7-day meditation challenge. And it's a 6 to 7 minute guided meditation every day. So, and this is about planting positive seeds in your mind. It's phenomenal. It's really about helping get you set up for the day. So you're calming your nervous system and you're getting your mind right for the day. That's a really easy place to start as well. Okay. Does that help? Does that answer?
Do you know what? Because I think that you can go to these and think, well, okay, I'll Google meditation, and there's this 25-minute guided meditation. I'm still at the guided stage because I need that. I need something to follow. But even that is really hard. So I think it's so refreshing. I think a lot of women who are going to be watching this will feel relieved that to start, you know, a minute, 2 minutes is much more acceptable and achievable than finding 20, 30 minutes in a day. So I think that is an amazing message for people to take away from this this chat. I think that the other questions, I think we've covered a lot of it around kind of the benefits of it, which have been, you know, completely clear, and around the results that have been seen. And actually one of the questions was going to be, how do you fit it into an already busy day? But I think that the achievableness, if that's ever a word that you've just gone through, of making it bite-sized and ideally when you wake up to start with, and maybe keeping that as a habit. I'm a firm believer that to change a habit, you need to really focus and do something every day until it just becomes a habit. Is that
100%? You've got to get it in your body. Yeah.
Okay.
You've got to wire it into and embed it into your body. And you know, one of the things that I sometimes do is to just take 1 or 2 minutes in the car before I set off for the journey, or when I arrive to wherever I am. You just take that time. Okay. Because all you're doing is just coming back to your center and you're resetting. You know, you say your mantras, and because you're building this habit, it's like we were saying before, when you rehearse and you practice the relaxation response, it's there when you need it. You can get into it quicker. It's the same once you start to get on this journey of the meditation. that, you know, you can get into the car for 60 seconds and within a few seconds, you're right back to where you were the last time you did your meditation, you know, and you're kind of bringing yourself back to your center. So you've got to get creative, especially when you're a busy mum. I know, you know, you do and I do work with a lot of very busy mums, but this is about getting a bit creative with the time. Don't try and do too much. Don't try and think that you need to clear your mind. It's just about breathing, taking a little bit of time. This is how you get into it. And then if you want to learn more and you want to build a solid practice, like a daily practice where you do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then you can do that. But that's probably not the place to start at straight away.
That's a bit later down the line.
Yeah,
this is just amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm sure I'll get loads of questions from this, and so I might need to come back to you but in the meantime,
please do.
Where can people find you, Nix? Where can they find you? Where can they find out more about the 7-day challenge that you mentioned?
So the 7-day challenge, you can find it on myzendays.com. Just have a look at new. So if you're new, start here, and it's in that drop down. But we've got the MyZen Days Facebook page and the MyZen Days Instagram, and then we do a bit of work on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, website or Facebook tends to be where I'm hanging out.
Where you're hanging out. So what I'll do is if I hang to the Facebook page and your website underneath this video, so that people can kind of go there and access it. And I know that you've got some freebies in there as well, haven't you, for people to try some bits, which
definitely. There's a guided gratitude meditation, there's a MyZen sleep guided meditation for if anyone's having trouble sleeping. So you can download those and listen for free and just test it, like see if this feels good for you, because I want to make it as easy as possible to just try it out and date meditation rather than marry it straight away or move in with it, you know, but just have a go and see if you like it. And if you do, amazing. If you don't, that's fine, but find something for you that is a way of relieving stress, because lives are busy, we're really fast paced, and you need to have some daily habits that support you and enable you to deal with the pace of your life. And this is a brilliant one to start with.
Well, do you know what? I love that phrase. Start dating rather than expecting to go into the marriage. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
just date it. See if you like it. See if it fits.
It's just brilliant. I love it. Right, 2 questions that I always ask people, Nix. One, in a one-liner.
Yep.
What advice would you give your younger self?
Oh, this is interesting, because I just did a post on this last week. So what advice I would give my younger self? The biggest bit of advice is to always, always, always trust your gut. Trust your gut instinct. So whether it's a relationship, career, work environment, or a stranger you're walking next to on the street, if something doesn't feel right, listen to yourself and move.
Yes.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you. And the second question is, what's your favourite ice cream?
Favourite ice cream? Ben & Jerry's cookie dough.
Oh, in a cone or in a bowl?
In a bowl, yes, in a bowl.
Brilliant. Love it. Like, people love a bit of Ben & Jerry's. Amazing. Oh my God. Absolutely loved talking to you. You are absolutely incredible.
Me too. Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I guess my key takeaways that I'm taking is, one, that whole thing of people constantly work out in the gym and think of physical fitness, but actually taking the time out to take your brain to the gym is a massive takeaway for me. The part around owning your happiness, that is something that I think that we're really connected on, of that message. And thirdly was that just start. It can be in 1 to 2 minute slots, but just starting is absolutely brilliant. And
just start. Take it easy, no expectations, and just see if you feel like you like it. And then if you do, build it up, because you'll fall in love with it. It just changes your life.
Amazing. So I think they're my biggest takeaways. So I think for those people who are watching this, the biggest thing that I'm sure Nix and absolutely myself want to ask you is to comment on this video, comment with a couple of things. One, which is, what is the biggest takeaway from today? What have you learned? What has really struck home? What is your light bulb moment? And 2, what are you going to do about it? because I'm all about learning, but more than the learning part, I'm about taking action. And so 1, what have you learned from it? 2, what are you going to do about it? And let us know those 2 things, something that you're going to commit to every single day, or if you decide it's 3 times a week, but let us know what you're going to commit to. And the 3rd thing was, let me know if there are any other topics that anyone wants to hear about, because I'm more than happy to dig into my network and speak to people on topics that they want. As you all know, that I am really, really passionate about helping women live the life that they crave, for really the women who want more, women who have maybe got it all already on the outside, but just need that more from the inside. But to be able to hit more women, I need help from all of you. So please please comment, please share these videos so that we can, Nix and I can really, really get the word out there, really help as many women as we absolutely possibly can. Okay, so remember to check out MyZen Days. I will put the link underneath. And also, to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the interviews going forward, do subscribe to my email list, where you'll get at least monthly inspiration, tips, hints, insights into guests like Nix, insights into my life and what makes a difference. So that's it from me. So Deb's from Stronger Inside Out, checking out and saying a massive thank you to Nix. And I'm sending.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. I'm sending you all love and positivity. Enjoy.
Yeah. Take care. Bye, everybody.